How goes it, everyone? Happy Thursday. What does that sound? Anywho. Dude, there's hair on my keyboard. Come on. One second. I'm gonna mute real quick. Excuse me. Wow, it is so dusty in my room right now because it's the summer and LA's been starting to get kind of hot recently, so I keep my window open at night because it's like cool enough at night, but then like it lets a lot of like gross dust into the air and shit, so yeah. Anywho, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. Blah, 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 Thursday. Happy Thursday. As you can see, we do be back with some 3D art stream. And yeah, we're just gonna hang out and chill. I'm really looking forward to a little bit of chill vibes. I definitely was came home a little early today because I was like starting to feel the weird, like, I guess end of the week burnout, where it's like, oh my gosh, kind of feeling anxious about like all the stuff left to do this week, but I'm just also kind of like, it's the end of the week and I've done everything I needed to do this week. Anything else that's left can just wait until next week, TBH. Well, not to say like, oh yeah, tomorrow just chill and fucking slack off, but like nothing is that deep that is worth being anxious over. And in general, nothing is worth being anxious over. So anywho, I'm here now. Oh! Why does the number keep on going up? I know, right? Can't it go down? Dude, how menacing would that be if, like, it keeps going down? That'd be so funny. I'd actually kind of love it. Anywho, hello, Noro. Happy Friday for you. How you going on this a lovely Friday? Finally Friday, yeah. Do you have any weekend plans? It's fucking wet and windy, gross. Yeah, it's like peak winter for you right now, right? Play video games, same as normal. I am a creature of habit. It's, you know, like, what's the word? I don't want to say, like, I mean, pattern, habit. It's kind of a good thing, you know? Having a routine. What have you been playing recently, by the way? Just out of curiosity. You're never gonna believe it, Destiny 2. I fucking knew it. I got you downloaded. You enjoying the expansion though? Or I guess the final expansion, I guess what it was what it was. I'm having a fucking stroke, by the way. Ow. Wow. Okay, these bug bites that I got like a week ago, like they finally kind of are, they like kind of popped, I guess, in that like they went from being bumps to just like little pinpoints almost, and now that's what they're at now, and it's still kind of itchy and uncomfortable, but it's definitely way less bad than it was last week. So itchy for a while. I don't know what kind of bugs they were, but like the motherfuckers hurt. I've actually also been playing a lot of Apex Legends. Oh yeah? That surprises me a bit. Final expansion's been good. Got a little burned out and I'm playing alone all the time. All my friends keep going to bed when I get home. Just tell them to move to New Zealand, remember? Remember, Stonks? Profit? Honestly, I'd fucking move to New Zealand. Life there seems so much better. I'm not normally a fan of Battle Royales, but I'm actually pretty good at it, and it's easy to play solo. I see. I'm surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if Salty plays Apex Legends, because doesn't he like shooters? I remember he was like super into Valorant, or I don't know, at least a while ago he was, right? He does, but motherfucker doesn't reply to me. What if I messaged him right now saying like, yo, I was told by someone that you're a fucking rat and you don't reply. I'd be mad. I mean, he might not reply to me either, but if he did reply to me, that'd be so funny, and I'd be like, suck it, nerd. I'm gonna message him right now. Oh, he's offline. It might be early, actually, right? Because what time is it in Melbourne right now? Oh, it's 10 a.m. Okay, JK. I actually want to try this so badly. You know what I'm gonna do it, Zach. I am running a social experiment. Please reply. No, I can't say that. I'm trying to think of what the least suspicious thing I could say is too. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I have like lost all form of concentration. What am I trying to do? Or Honkai Star, okay. Okay, I just messaged him. I mean, he's not online right now, so. But yeah, let's see how long it takes him to reply. Oh my gosh, I'm actually gonna like pee my pants, bro, if he replies to me instantly. Okay, I'm like so confused what's going on with the bevels. Like, there's something not going... Oh, what the hell? Why is there just a vertex there? Ugh. Anywho, Naru. I was gonna say something. Oh my god, my brain just dropped off. Holy shit, massive brain fart. What was I about to say? We're talking about Honkai or talking about Salty. Oh, I'm down to. I've actually got some time this weekend. On like, especially Saturday in the evening for me. If you wanna play some video games. I haven't really played much of the new Phasmo map. If Phasmo is something you still have downloaded on your computer. I've actually been playing like Phasmo again recently. Not like a lot, but definitely like been playing it like honestly I want to say like probably once a week, which is like quite honestly a lot for you know, given like the type of game Phasmo is, you know, it's not like one of those like daily like games you usually play daily, I guess. I mean, they want people to, because I know they added, like, daily quests and all. But it's, like, not really a game that people play daily. I can download anything pretty quickly. I don't have League installed. Yeah, no, don't install League. No League of Legends, please. Honestly, like, as of late, I've been getting... I don't know. I've been playing a little too much League again recently, which is just kind of funny, because, like, you know, last year in the autumn, I think I literally would, like, play League once a week, because I was, like, gotta focus. Can't play so much League right now, but it's summer and I have time again. And honestly, I don't think it's a good thing. But, you know, it's summer, so just kind of fuck it. I'm seeing the VC with others. Yeah. We've been playing Phasmo in there. That or Valheim, but like just casually. I don't mind League, but I can't just be bothered with the anti-cheat. I need to restart my PC if it didn't know. But yeah, dude, it's crazy that like sometimes League just doesn't fucking open. Yeah. But yeah, no, truly, in all honesty, like I'd rather play something like Phasmo. I think like Phasmo's fun. League is silly. League is fun, but silly. Sorry, I don't have a lot of concentration power today. Which is funny, because I said the exact same thing last week, that I was like, oh, I'm tired, well, last week was a really short stream, because I was, like, pretty exhausted on Thursday. And it was late. Yeah, I didn't get to start until, like... it wasn't that late, but, like... later than I normally start on Thursday, so... Ooh. Just looked over at Discord real quick, and one of my engineers said that there's a spicy surprise waiting for people when they hop into the main game scene. Cannot wait to check that out later. I've been looking for other games I could start, but there's not anything that's caught my attention as of late. I kind of feel you there. I did recently finally buy Untitled Goose Game, so I'm excited to play that. And once we finish Tears of the Kingdom, I will probably play Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That's the second one, right? Yeah. I always get them mixed up, but yeah. It's the Blind Forest that we already played, so I'm gonna play Will of the Wisps next. Oh, I have been playing Animal Well recently, because someone gifted it to me last month. And I am enjoying Animal Well a lot. I haven't touched Tears of the Kingdom since you started streaming it, which was over a year ago. I mean, I've been talking about it, like, because I do want to finish it. I want to fucking beat Ganon. And, like, I want to know what happens to Zelda. And I've been talking about it on, like, the last 2 streams that I'm just, like... I'll be honest. I didn't get it in the sale, but I was tempted. It's pretty good. It's really good. I'm having a lot of fun. It's, like, really delightful, and, like, a lot of the game kind of has, like, this strong feeling of, like, the joy of being a child, I guess. Like, the whole game itself feels a bit like a toy sometimes, which is really cool. But yeah, highly recommend if you do get it, or if you are thinking about getting it in the future, near future. But yeah, on the topic of Tears of the Kingdom, like, I don't know, dude, it's fun, I like it, but it's like, I gotta say, of all the Zelda games that I've played, it's one of my less liked ones, honestly. Like, I don't like it very much. Which I know is a little bit, like, blasphemy, but... Breath of the Wild was more engaging. I so strongly agree. Engaging is the right word. And, like, my huge gripe with Tears of the Kingdom is truly... Why did they feel the need to make it so much harder than Breath of the Wild? Like, I think okay, because you know me, I'm kind of doggy-doo-doo water at video games. So I might be, like, blowing out of proportion how difficult Tears of the Kingdom actually is. But, like, I feel like it's unanimously agreed by people, though, that, like, Tears of the Kingdom is generally harder than Breath of the Wild, in, like, as an overarching statement. Like, the degree to which it's harder is a different conversation, but it's, like, generally more difficult. Like, there's a stronger resource deficiency, and, like, stronger resource deficiency, and, what was I gonna say? Like, I don't know, did you fight Ganon? Because I am, like, quote, quote, stuck at the Ganon fight. Stuck in this, like, I put stuck in quotes because, like, I've only tried the fight once. Or I guess twice, but, like, the second time I was like, no, this ain't it. And then kind of just, like, let myself die. But, like, it's so difficult. Like, why is there... So, I was told that there are indeed 3 phases, and it's, like, 3 distinct phases, but every phase has 2 phases, so it's 6 phases total, essentially. And I'm like, what the hell? And, like, I don't know, why is phase 1... actually, wait, I'm gonna wait. Never got to the Rito and Gerudo. Okay, do you mind if I, like, kind of talk about spoilers and talk about the final Ganon fight a little bit? And all good if you'd rather not. I will shut my big mouth. I don't mind. Okay, like, the first stage of the final of the Ganon fight is, like, kind of Hyrule Warriors, where it's like it just sends mobs at you and you kind of hack and slash. And I hate that. I really hate that. And, like, the second phase is then where you actually fight Ganondorf, but it's still mob-like a little bit. Like, the first stage of the fight I actually thought is pretty cool, because I'm like, it does feel like a traditional... It does feel like it's been long enough that I had my chance, fair enough. But I mean, you know, I'm asking, and I wouldn't be upset if you were kind of like, I'd still rather not have spoilers. But yeah, the first phase of the first part of the second phase, there we go, I think that's a better way to put it, is like feels like a classic Zelda fight. It's fun. I enjoyed that, where like you have a 1v1 with Ganondorf, like fucking sword to sword, fist to fist. Like, that I thought was really cool. But then the second part of the fight is like it spawns like 6 different Ganons. And like, if you have your companions, then like it's obviously a lot easier. But I'm just like, okay, again, why is this turning into a mob fight again? And like, even if you get your companions back, like, I would rather just have a two-stage 1v1 against Ganon, kind of like how Skyward Sword had it, right? Where you just have to then use different attack strategies, right? Like Skyward Sword, it's like, at first it's a normal sword fight, and then the second half is like you have to use the Skyward Strike, or like reverse, something like that. But, like, I would have preferred that. Like, I just don't like the mob fights. I don't get it. And honestly, I don't know what specifically the third phase of the Ganondorf fight is, but I'm like, I don't even want, like, I think it's cool if the final fight is me fighting Ganondorf. I think that's sick, and it feels like it feels good. It feels classic Zelda. I don't want to do another phase. I really don't. I'm not looking forward to that at all. And it's just like, even Breath of the Wild having 6 phases with still 1v1 mechanics with each phase. Yeah, like, I kind of much prefer a 1v1 structure. And, like, the thing I think that frustrates me the most is, like, I've actually, so on Sunday, when the last time I played, most recently, I came to the conclusion that I'm like, oh, grinding out more hearts, grinding out more stamina, because I don't have any maxed out stats, is not gonna help me that much. Like, I think I'm at the point where it's kind of like, sunk cost return or whatever. Like, for every amount of, like, for every stat that I upgrade, like, or diminishing returns. Sorry, that's the word, not sunk cost returns. I genuinely feel like I'm at the point of diminishing returns where it's not worth it to keep grinding hearts and stamina. Like, sure, they'll help, but it's not actually going to help me that much. It's not going to help me that much. And, like, I think that's the part that feels frustrating, because this boss fight, I think the boss fight the final boss in Tears of the Kingdom feels like it's trying to, you know, pull back towards a more, like, traditional Zelda formula where, like, you are 1v1ing. But it's also still trying to reap the benefits of, like, an RPG leveling, like, system where, like, yeah, no, if I'm bad at the game, I really can just run away, grind out some bosses, or grind out some, like, world mobs, get EXP, become OP, and then one-shot the final boss. And I'm like, I'm at the point where it feels like I can't do that, though. And that's fine, because, again, like old school Zelda games, it really did ask you to have some good mechanics for fighting Ganondorf, and, like, that's fine. But where I get pissed and frustrated with Tears of the Kingdom is, like, then why did I spend all this time grinding if I really was just gonna have to have a mechanics-based fight at the end of the game? Why? Like, I feel like games that have a progression, like, leveling progression system and, like, getting stronger and grinding, like, how do I describe this? It just feels like wasted time. And it frustrates me a lot, honestly. Because I think if I had just known that it would be one of those things where I just had to be good at the mechanics to beat the final boss, I wouldn't have grinded as much as I already have. You know, like... Yeah, okay, wait, sorry. Here I think is a better way to explain it. Or comparatively, right? Like, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, those games, say, like, took me, I don't know, let's say, like, 30 hours to play. And I'm like, I know this is a linear progression, and, like, yeah, they have their own side quests, but, like, I am still gonna go through all these things, and, like, if I pick up the heart after every boss, then, like, more or less, I'll have some minimum threshold of hearts, right? Like, you're expected to have 10 hearts by the time you get to the final boss, unless you explicitly don't pick up the hearts that you get from fighting the previous bosses. And, like, when I played Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, like, I didn't do that much to go out of my way to, like, really grind out hearts, because I also kind of knew that I'm like, these hearts will be helpful, but, you know, I'm gonna get some minimum threshold of hearts throughout the game, and that will be enough. And then, so I'd play the game for 30 hours, you know, following the standard path, and then I'd get to the end, and, like, yeah, those final bosses would take me, like, 2 hours. But I'd be, like, buckled in and ready to dedicate myself for those 2 hours, because I'm like, I got through the game learning all my skills to do this. But it's like, when I'm getting to this final Ganondorf fight after having put 75 hours in Tears of the Kingdom and I'm not one-shotting him, that's like really frustrating because I actively didn't just go through the linear, quote-quote linear path of Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I went out of my way a lot to find shrines and grind because I knew, like, I'm gonna get to the final boss. It's gonna be hard for me because I'm bad at games. But, you know, that's okay because we have this, like, open world and like open world progression structure that like I can grind for as long as I want. I'll get strong and then the final fight will be kind of easy for me, and then I can just coast on through and get to the part of the game or the part that I'm really interested in, which is like finding out what happened to Zelda after she became a fucking dragon. And it's like, oh man, I've done it before, like sinking, you know, 2 hours into fighting Zelda bosses. And that's fine. And I've always been fine and happy to do that. I do get frustrated, but like, I'll do that. I'm not ready to do that for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm really not. I don't want to. Oh man. But I just don't know. I think like on Sunday we're genuinely gonna have to spend like 2 hours doing the boss fight. And there's so many phases, though. And yeah, I don't know. Obviously, different strokes for different folks. Like, I'm not saying that like Tears of the Kingdom is like a bad game, but I will say for me personally, it is in my bottom 5 least favorite Zelda games. Like, I felt kind of bad saying that, like, this past Sunday, but I'm kind of like, no, I really genuinely feel that way. I don't like this game very much. It's a good game. I'm still having a good time, but I liked Breath of the Wild a lot more. You know, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, different game formulas, but like those games were much better in terms of my personal taste, I think. But I am determined to finish it because, one, I really do want to find out what happened to Zelda at the end. Like, that's my biggest motivation to finish this game. And two, like, I've felt frustrated with Zelda bosses before. And, you know, I got through all of them for what it's worth. Like, I may be bad at video games, but I don't fucking give up. And the fact that for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you basically have to go in with cooked food unless you're a speedrunner doing no hit, or at the very least spend a significant amount of time gathering food materials. Yeah, and like that's another thing. Like the economy in Tears of the Kingdom, it's so much more resource efficient in terms of like food. And in general, like I think everything is kind of harder to get. Like, it's hard to find a weapon that can break rocks because your weapons, that's another thing too, all the weapons are rusted, so I don't think that enemies are hitting harder, but you are weaker all the time in Tears of the Kingdom because of the rusted weapons. And I understand that's part of like their systemic change of like introducing weapon fusing, which is kind of how you can get around that, but then that also means to fuse a weapon, you often need to kill something to fuse it with, and it's like, yeah, you can fuse with anything, but it's like if you want to fuse it with something to actually be like, in order for like a rusted sword to compare to a normal fucking sword, you need a boss, like you need a monster part. And so you have to deal with shitty low-hitting weapons to get the monster parts to make your shitty low-hitting weapons hit harder. And so like, I don't know, they just like the way they redid the weapon system, like even the weapons have much more of like an RPG style progression system in Tears of the Kingdom. And that's another thing that makes grinding, I think, even more frustrating. Because you spend all this time going through the world trying to collect resources. But again, I'm at the point where when I get to this final boss fight, resources, like, don't help me. Yeah, I think the Sundelions for removing the gloom, those are definitely by far the most helpful. But it's like kind of one of those things, again, where it's like no amount of food. Unless you literally have like 1,000 meals and just every time you get hit, you can fucking replenish. Because it's not like Link can get full. But it's like no amount of food is gonna help you get through this fight. Or because it doesn't punish you for taking 2 hours to do a boss, it just drains your materials. It doesn't, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. And like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that as well, because at least in Breath of the Wild you could just go to the castle and grab some new weapons. Yeah. So, honestly, I didn't think about that specifically on Sunday, because I was just like kind of like big mouthing to Kevin that I was like, I can't confirm this because I haven't seen the numbers, obviously. But the enemies in Tears of the Kingdom feel stronger. But that's a good point. It's not even like, thinking about it now, it's like, it's not that the enemies are stronger, it's you hit weaker, though. You hit significantly weaker from the start of the game. And, like, because you hit weaker, like, it's harder to kill enemies and, like, farm resources, like, specifically the gems. And because you can't get gems, you can't really sell them to get money, to buy anything. Ugh. I don't know. It just kind of felt a little bit like Tears of the Kingdom tried to bring back all the things that worked really well in previous Zelda games and shove them into the Breath of the Wild formula. And some of those things I think worked well. Like, I really enjoyed all the dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom. I would say more than Breath of the Wild. Not enjoyed, but like, they're a little bit more memorable, and I kind of like getting into the dungeons was like more fun and stuff for me, because it, like, you know, I won't shut up about it, but like scaling that, like hopping up all those flying ships to get into the Rito dungeon. Oh, that was so fun. That was fucking core memory, I think. Like, genuinely one of my favorite things in Tears of the Kingdom. But it's like, I don't know. There's some things in... Why would you risk selling a gem when you might need it for a weapon later? Or you're just inclined to keep the gems because you can fuse them for different properties. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. Like, now stuff like gems and monster parts had like more duality or more flexibility in the economy, which is like cool, because it's like, oh, like, I don't need to sell this to get rupees to buy, I don't know, arrows or whatever. I could just fuse this with my sword, and my sword is really OP. Like, that I think is a cool choice, but it's also what's contributing to the resource deficiency, because now you have a choice to make with all your resources. So, like, I don't know, the resources in Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, just a lot more like complex and deep, again, which is cool, but there's already enough in the game that's like super deep. Can we please leave the weapons out of it? And just, yeah, I don't know. I think, like, I don't know how much people actually complain, because I think a lot of people agreed that, like, Breath of the Wild's a masterpiece. Yes, people were upset that, like, they changed the Zelda formula, but it's like, Breath of the Wild itself was still, like, a really good game, and it does feel like they heard some of those concerns, and like I said, tried to bring back some things that worked in classic Zelda games. And, like, some of them hit, but some of them totally missed, at least for me. Such as the Ganon, like, how the Ganondorf final boss fights are working. Just not a fan, man. Just genuinely not a fan. Again, all that said, I still like the game. I'm having a good time, but just not my type of Zelda game, methinks. So why would, oh, okay, I already read that. Oh, and not to mention the fairy fountains! Because they need rupees, they're so much harder to upgrade. Dude, I haven't gotten a single fairy fountain. 75 hours into the game, by the way. And another thing I just find crazy is, like, someone like me who, like, the number one thing I do in video games is run around and pick shit up off the ground. So, like, if the run around and pick shit up off the ground player, it feels like there's a resource deficiency. There's a resource deficiency! 100%, yeah. Again, I don't know. I need to do some poking on this, because I obviously... A lot of these are just, like, unbased, things that I'm saying based on, like, intuitions, so... They could be totally wrong, and I don't want to go around saying undata-supported things. But... my intuition, okay? My spidey sense. My fucking Hyrule Green sense is tingling. Also, I mean, I haven't done a lot of side quests. The ones I picked up at the start, they just haven't been interesting yet. I feel like a lot of them had more personality to them. Yeah. I agree. The side quests are a lot less colorful. Like, a lot of them feel kind of similar to Breath of the Wild, which I guess was to be expected. And I will say I really feel that strongly about the shrines. Like, there have been a couple of cool shrines, but I feel like for the most part, a lot of the shrines I'm like, I kind of am like, yeah, I kind of remember something like this from Breath of the Wild. Obviously, there are some exceptions to that. Like, I really like that they redid how the tests of strength work, I guess. Those ones are like they're like the combat dungeons where, like, you still... Well, I guess, never mind. Test of strength, you don't lose your equipment. But in these ones, like, you lose your equipment, and it's like you have to fight the, Zonai dudes. Like, I actually really enjoy those shrines, because, like, they're also not just, like, testing how good you are at combat. A lot of them are like, oh, like, can you stealth your way around? Or can you, like, they give you a specific type of weapon that becomes, like, how you solve the puzzles, too, to get through those dungeons. I think those ones are pretty fun. Much better than Tests of Strength. Tests of Strength suck. I did a couple of those. It was cool. Yeah. Those were... I really liked the one where it was, like, a bunch of, like... It was, like a river around the main base area, and you, like, they had, like, structures of varying sizes. Like, that one was really fun. That was a very, very memorable and enjoyable shrine. IMO. M-O. So hopefully my bitrate is okay. I'm getting... It's looking not so hot right now on OBS. But Twitch says I'm still live at the very least, so we ain't crashed yet. Have you seen the new Zelda game, by the way, though? The one that, like, a song of something, but you play as Zelda. I'm pretty excited for that, because I did really, really like the Link's Awakening remake. So definitely giga hype for that. Been some small stuttering by IDK, if that's just me. It might be me. It genuinely might be me. I don't know. Because I am, again, like, it's getting red on OBS, but Twitch says I'm live, so, like I said, as long as we're still live, that's all I care about. Stream did crash, like, a week ago or 2 weeks ago? I don't entirely recall. But yeah, it is telling me unstable. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me! We out here, true. You know, stream really does boom. I'd be like, rude, but you know what? I'd understand. It's kind of been a long week for everyone, eh? Also, yeah, Nuru, what do you think of the microphone? I played with some settings. Because I know a couple weeks ago, Kevin was mentioning it sounds really echoey. Or I think it might have been Eon, actually. I think I might still sound a little echoey. Like, a lot of people have said, generally, that's the consensus. I sound a little bit crisper, but because of, like, I simultaneously sound clearer and more echoey. Like, or people say it sounds like I'm, like, they feel like I'm in a bigger room. But I sound clearer. I don't hear any echo, but I'm on my phone, so IDK def clear. Okay, well that's good, because I think Eon had mentioned as well that he was on, like a computer speaker, and I sounded echoey, so I think it's a good sign that, like, if over phone speaker I don't sound super echoey. But yeah, I played with some settings, because there was, you know, minor learning curve, as always, when getting new technology, but I remember the day that Kevin mentioned that, I, like, switched back to the headset, and then, I wasn't, like, I don't mean it as in, like, I was, like, upset or anything, but I was like, yeah, okay, let's figure out the settings, because, like, I didn't buy a microphone only to be like, yeah, no, the headset was easier to work with, or, like, you know, it sounded better because I'm used to it and have, like, set up the correct settings for it or whatever, you know? Like, figure it out. Honestly, this is something I think, this is some very random thought as well. But a while ago I saw this post about, like, realistic growth. And it's just, like, it's the idea that, like, this person, when they had moved into their apartment a year before, had a mattress on the ground. And now they had a bed frame. And it is something I think about, like, with my computer setup and everything, and I'm like, honestly, like, I love my setup, I love my computer, and, like, for me, that definitely feels like my what's the word? Not tracker, but it's like, it is the thing that represents the quote-quote realistic growth, progress for me as well. Because, like, you know, that guy getting a mattress frame for his bed, like, that's a huge win, and probably nobody thought about that or celebrated it, but it's like, it's the baby steps, and, like, this is what realistic progress looks like. And I'm like, that's what I really feel with my computer setup, you know, like, I mean, I built my PC 4 years ago. I, like, dropped, like, $900 on it. Dollars, why did I say like that? I dropped, like, $900 on... Dollars? I can't stop saying it like that. I dropped, like, $900 on it, and I bought, like, a crappy, like, small monitor. I don't even know how big it was. Like, I don't know. It wasn't that crappy, but, like, it's, like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how big it was, but it... Sorry, I'm stuttering now. I'm getting, like, lost in my words. But yeah, spent $900 on building the PC, and then I think the monitor itself probably cost me about, like, $60. So I was like, I need a more robust development setup. Just because it's part of, like, what I do. And now I'm got, like, 2 monitors, and even the keyboard I had was just, like, this cheap, like, I don't know how cheap it was, but, like, this is Logitech keyboard that I found in my dad's office, and I asked him if I could use it. Same with the mouse. Or no, the mouse I had before-hand, but the mouse was, like, a HyperX or something that one of my former flatmates gave me because he had a friend that, like, worked somewhere that gave them discounts. And, yeah, that's all I had. Like, my 1K gaming / work setup, which, to be fair, 1K is still a lot of money. But now, you know, I got my 2 monitors. I got a nice, like, keyboard. I have a nice vertical mouse that doesn't, like, destroy my wrist. I have a microphone. It just feels satisfying. Sorry, I'm, like, can't talk right now, honestly. Also, hello, Ashley Badger. Thanks for the lurk and the hydrate. Here. Oh, yeah, how does that sound coming through the new mic? But how you doing on this lovely Thursday? You're here just in time for me to just talk about, like, how much love and appreciation I have for my work / gaming setup. Like, over the years, I've, like, built it up because I bought a microphone, like, a month ago. Partially because I needed it for thesis, but I was like, it's time. It's time for a new microphone. I think the next thing I want to save up for is, like, new headphones. But yeah, over the course of the last, like, X number of years, that has been what felt like realistic growth for me, is just, like, saving up money, and prioritizing what I do and don't need. 2 monitor Chad, hell yeah. Maybe the next one will be, like, an arm for the monitors, I don't know. Still very schlorpy, that's good. We need maximum schlorp. I actually checked that on the mic specs when I bought it. I was like, is this a schlorpy mic? What mic is it? IDKV said it just spaced out. It's a Blue Yeti. So I think it cost me about, like... Wait, let me look it up. I can actually look it up right now. Because I was about to say it cost me $121. But then I'm like, no, that's not right. Because I also bought a webcam at the same time. Because I needed it for another thing for school. But the microphone and the webcam together was $121. So that doesn't sound right. Let's see. Oh, okay, so the microphone right now on Amazon is $100, but I got it for $95 because I got it on discount. Yeah. And then the webcam, I just bought a cheaper one because I just needed something to try motion, like, check motion tracking against. Oh gosh. Or not check motion tracking, I just needed, like, a motion tracking. I needed a camera for motion tracking. Jesus fucking Christ, I can't talk today. You have a blue snowball. What is that? Is like the... Is it like the kind of next tier up? Or... Oh, it's like the baby bro. Yeah. Admittedly, another thing that's been really nice about having the mic is because, like, previously I had to wear, like, the headset, and that headset is really uncomfortable. Not really uncomfortable, but I want to say, like, I get kind of fatigued wearing it for too long. So now it's nice that I can wear, like, earbuds and have the mic. Also, actually, to be fair, the earbuds did have a mic on them. It's just that the mic has been broken for a long fucking time. So that's also kind of on me. I was just too cheap to get a new pair of earbuds, but again, getting a microphone was kind of on the docket, like on my next upgrade that I wanted for the setup. Had it for years now. It's just the same brand. Yeah, I think, like, I just looked it up in the Snowball. It looks like it's, like, kind of the cheaper tier. I have a friend who has, like, the highest tier, I think, Yeti or something. And it is very nice, but it's pricey. Like having Stanley on my cousin, I have a really comfy headset. Yeah, I totally agreed. Like I was just saying, like, I get to wear my earbuds now, and, like, obviously has some issues too. But, like, I much prefer wearing the earbuds over, like, over the ear. Well, like the headset that I had, right? The whatever, I don't even know what I have. Those, like, really hurt my ears. Like, I could now, same as you, like, invest in some really comfy headphones or headset. You know what? Maybe that will be the next upgrade. Who knows? But because yeah, computer gaming equipment and shit is so fucking pricey. And you know, another sorry, got a head stroke. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because, you know, computer equipment is expensive, so you gotta pick and choose your battles sometimes. You gotta pick what you want to buy now and what you save up money for. I also don't like having a headset mic that's, like, right next to my mouth or a wobbly thing on the side. Yeah, same. Yeah, especially the right next to your mouth thing in particular. Because, like, I feel like, you know, I go to scratch my ear and I bop the mic and suddenly everyone goes deaf. Tell me about it. Yeah. Gonna replace your GPU when NVIDIA does their next series release. That's a good investment. I recently had a friend get her, like, she got her first PC ever in life. Like, desktop PC. And, like, ever since she got it, she's been... Well, not ever since, but when she first got it, she was, like, really crazed for... like... I don't know, getting a lot of really new, really good stuff, too, and, like... Oh boy. I honestly don't want to know how much money she spent on the setup. And part of me was kind of just like, damn, wish I could do that. I think this is already grouped, right? Yeah, nice. My dad actually bought himself a PC recently as well. Same thing, that he just like kind of went ham on getting like a very fully decked out setup. I mean, again, I guess if like the most important thing is always like money, I guess. Like if you can afford it, fucking go crazy. Like, you know, we all have different means, and we all gotta live within our means, so... One day I shall be able to just, like, go fucking sicko mode when I buy myself, like, a new computer, and... Well, I don't think I think I'm gonna, like, upgrade, but, like, I'm never gonna replace my PC. I love my girl. She's been with me through thick and thin. This is gonna just sound like so dorky, but it's just like, I don't know, thinking about it is like, I do love my computer. And not, okay, it sounds a little creepy. Not in like the creepy way though, obviously, but just like, again, my computer has supported me through, like, it's been my ability to like get work and do work and like getting through grad school right now, honestly. Like, my PC is like fucking MVP. So, you know, I do love my computer so much. You know my dumb ass giant monitor? Yeah, the really big one, the billion centimeter wide one. He didn't even check if it would fit on his desk, and it didn't fit? Oh my god. That's kind of hilarious. I kind of hate that. That's so funny. Ooh, standing desk was also an upgrade at some point, too. Or, you know, one of the upgrades. You know, thinking about it now real quick, I gotta say, this is gonna be a wild sentence to say. My entire setup, both my monitors, my microphone, my PC, my keyboard, my mouse, my standing desk, all of it is cheaper than some people's PCs. That's a little bit crazy to think about. I will also say I'm a bit of a PC build snob. Not in the sense that, like, I'm a snob about, like, PC builds. Like, oh, why do you have this RAM or whatever, stuff like that. I don't mean it like that. Wow, that was like that was the dumbest, least educated thing I could have said. More specifically in the sense that I'm like, oh my god, I can't, after having built my own PC and seeing how much money it saved me, and how easy it was to build, and how actually fun it was to build, I just could not comprehend getting a pre-built. At least not like a $1 billion one too. There are some pre-built PCs that I think are, because as my friend was like shopping around, I was kind of like taking a look with her too. Not because I like, not in the sense that like I wanted to buy one. I was just kind of like, she was showing me her options, right? And like, I don't know. It definitely feels like some of the things that some of the PC, like some of the pre-built PCs, you're like, are just like excessively expensive because you're getting like in-house parts and stuff like that, which I guess makes sense. But like, he used all his current PC, and all he wants to do on his new one is emails and PDFs. He's a field representative for a helicopter engine company and edit videos he's taken from flying his plane. Yeah. It's actually funny, because, like, my, computer, my powerful-ass PC is actually weaker than my, mom's laptop. I only have 16. I only have 2 sticks of 8, I think, is what I have. Yeah, for RAM. And my mom has 32. I love building PCs, they're great, yeah. I mean, I think, like, different strokes for different folks, because, like, she, like, I will say PC building is definitely time consuming, and, like, I was really fortunate that I had, like, Life Iris walking me through the whole thing, like, and it took me 7 hours to build, because I had never built one, it was my very first, so it is, like, time consuming, and, like, definitely, like, I was so worried I was gonna fuck it up, and he was just really constantly like, you're not gonna fuck it up, you are literally not gonna fuck it up. It's statistically harder for you to fuck up than to get right. Which is funny. But just, yeah. I mean, again, budget. Budget is always the biggest reason, I think, to, like, build versus buy. Because, I don't want to say me poor, because those are, like, not the right words to say, but me don't have as much money as some other people, so that's also why I kind of opted for pre-built, or self-built. Okay, why is the math not mathing? This is 16 sides, right? 16 is divisible by 4. So why are these not evenly distributed? Oh, because it's offset. Should be like this. There we go. Wait, what? Now it's not. What? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. What the fuck? This is 16 sides. Oh, 14. How did I end up with 16? Why did I think it was 16? Oh my gosh, I'm struggling so hard for things that are so silly. I think for people who are not very tech savvy at all, pre-build is okay because they just get in, plug in, and yeah, for sure. There's like huge advantages to pre-build. And I think like, because it's pre-built, like warranty I think is definitely a huge thing to consider. Because if you have some issue with like the pre-built, they'll just like fix it for you, or just like, I don't know. You know, if there's an issue for a pre-built, cracking it open and fixing it, and like ordering the part, replacing it, it's a headache. It's a huge headache. 16, it's plenty, yeah. Desktop parts of last desktop is only one performance. Yeah. Like, I I mean, I've complained a little bit in that, like, sometimes, like, my computer will definitely lag out. Running, like, Unity and Maya, or, like, Maya and Blender at the same time. But, you know, like, those are, I think, like, I will say those are more edge cases than anything. It's not like that's a problem that plagues me daily, you know? If it was something that was, like, about the computer's daily performance, then yeah, I'd upgrade, but yeah, no, like, I think 16 is more than enough, and, like, I've been, like, loosely tossing the idea of, like, upgrading around for the last couple of years, but, like, because it doesn't feel, like, that deep and that urgent, I'm just like, nah, I don't need it, you know? It'll be nice to have, it'll be a nice to have thing the day that I do get it, but until then, I'm chilling, I don't need it. I'm broke, is that for real, same, yeah. And I guess that's another thing, because, like, sometimes, like, these PC things, like, you know, it's not to say, for example, like, I couldn't afford to have, like, 2 monitors a long time ago, but it's also kind of like, no, you know, I got my extra $300, I'll shove 150 of it in the bank, and I will, like, just hang on to 150, because who knows, what if next week, like, I don't know, like, I drop an AirPod, and it, like, gets run over by a car, and, like, it breaks, like, then I'm gonna be glad that I have that extra 150 bucks around to buy another set of AirPods, you know? So it's more, like, really just considering when I do have the disposable income for something, and it's like, is upgrading my PC setup essentially what I want to do with my bonus disposable income right now? And the answer is not always yes, and, like, you know, that's fine, and it's fine if the answer is no, and it's fine if the answer is yes. Just, like, depends on the person and depends on what you want or need right now in life. There's a giant place here that does custom builds for the same price, cheaper than their proper pre-builds, and I recommend them to all my friends if they want a computer, either for buying parts or getting built. Yeah, same thing. Like, well, I don't know about how you're in California, but, like, on the East Coast, there's this thing called Micro Center, which is really popular. And they're pretty much the same thing, where they'll, like, they will even pick the parts for you if you don't know anything about picking parts. They'll be like, kind of, what do you want your PC for? And then you just, like, tell them your use case, and they'll be like, cool, you should get this, and that, and then they build it for you. Which I think is, like, an absolutely lovely service. But that's okay, I enlightened you to the 2-monitor master race. I mean, yeah, two monitors was something I had wanted for so long, and then finally just had the money to spare for it. But yeah, I think my upgrade for this, I mean, honestly, it's kind of funny because, like, in my head also, like, it's been years coming together of like assembling this setup that I oops just knocked over the box of band-aids on my desk. It's been years getting this set up together. Like it was kind of from years ago that I was like, okay, I want a second monitor, got the second monitor. Or it was years ago that I was like, I want a second monitor, I want a mic, I want a standing desk, I want a nicer mouse. Oh, you don't remember? Yes, I remember you donated to the monitor fund too. And I actually, in my head also, I was kind of like, what if I just didn't put it to the monitor? But that's true. That's true. That is true. And thank you for that. Because you definitely didn't need to do that. And I remember shitting my pants when I saw that the donation, there was a donation. I was like, dude, what? Go pay your bills. Go eat dinner. Don't give your money to me. I don't want it. But it was a really nice gesture. I think this monitor that I had, the second monitor that I got, because I kept that like shitty like $60 one around for like a year or years, and then I bought the second monitor. I think this monitor I got for like, I want to say like, oh my gosh, it wasn't $295. I think it was full price $300 to $100, and then I did get it all. I did get it for a pretty decent sale, maybe for $200, $250. Yeah. Yee! I'll be honest, I didn't forget about the donation specifically, but I didn't realize that that's what you were talking about. So, thanks for calling me out on that. Keep me humble. Yeah, as I was like saying as well, it's just like, it was like years coming that I knew what are things I want in my setup, and actually as of right now, I kind of have accomplished all the goals that I wanted, honestly, in the last 4 years, in terms of like my setup, right? Like I got my 2 monitors that are the same size and everything, got my keyboard, got my nicer mouse, got my microphone. The only thing I think I could ask for more is like a nice pair of headphones, but like that feels like super, super low stakes for me, because like I like wearing earbuds, you know, I'm fine with my like earbuds that I have right now. I mean, then again, I was fine with the headset mic, but like that one I was a little more pressed on just because like I didn't like wearing the headset. But like I feel like I've accomplished everything that I had wanted since like the last 4 years, which is really satisfying. And you know what? It's good because, time to save money, because there's a big trip that I want to take at the end of the year. So maybe it's good that, like, and my upgrade of the year was the microphone. Wow, honestly, even at this point, my second, okay, sorry, let me clarify the monitor history. I had a small monitor, and then I bought the second monitor, which is a big one. And then I used that setup for years. And then actually last November, I bought a second big monitor. So now I have 2 monitors the same size. That was my upgrade for last year. My upgrade for this year is the microphone. And, you know, that's enough for me. I remember looking at it on stream with you at the time and sending enough to get it. Yeah, good times, good times. Oh damn, that's crazy. Where are you going? Gee, I wonder where. Not sure yet, you know? Maybe Japan? To go to a gym and get buff? Eee. No, but in all realness, like, I really do want to take that trip. I know I said because I actually had wanted to take it this year in April. Like, I remember last year, around this time, I said this year. Around summer 2023, I said spring 2024, I'll take the trip. But it's kind of like, I was so busy this year during the spring, and also I was kind of reevaluating them, like, wow, no, it's going to be a gajillion hour flight down there. Like, I don't want to visit just for 1 week. I want to make it, like, you know, I want to make it like a 2 to 3 week adventure to really make it worth it. So yeah. And, you know, I did look at it, and people were saying, like, or, you know, the internet was kind of saying, like, oh yeah, like, visiting New Zealand in their summertime is pretty pleasant. Housing prices in Japan looking low-key, actually fucking affordable. Yo, let's go get a house in Japan together. That'd be cray-cray. That would actually be cray-cray. But in all real talk, I know December is like really far away. I haven't even bought the plane tickets, but like, dude, it would actually be so sick to visit New Zealand. It'd be sick to meet you and Lulu. That'd be crazy. It's crazy to think that like I've known you guys like longer than I've known like my like fucking graduate school classmates, you know? Working slow and steady the stupid way as I do, but it's therapeutic, honestly. That'd actually be wild. We joke about funny number go burr once a month with resub, but that's a real number. And that's not even the whole time. I know, right? I mean, it would be so cool though. I mean, you guys aren't serial killers, right? I can't promise that I'm not. Huh? But you know, it would be a lie if I said that I didn't like how much like it's been like really fun, honestly, like getting to like meet and be friends with you guys, you know? Never in my life did I think that I'd be like, yeah, no, just got fucking friends across the world like that. And I mean, I know you said your friend's wedding, they eloped, but like, you guys are ever in the States, fucking hit me up. We'll party, we'll have a good time. Huh? Eee. Imagine the long time endgame of being a tier 3 sub for 44 months only to be a serial killer. Okay, now you got me stressing out. Well, ironically, one of my other friends in Nebraska are getting married at some point. They got oh, congrats to them. But anyway, trip to the States back on. Let's go. So Ireland trip is canceled, but Nebraska trip is on the horizon. Hell yeah. That'd be sick. That would be so sick. I have this core memory that, like, Lila was talking about the one time, like, she had visited the States, and they went to San Francisco and went to the Ghirardelli chocolate factory. And, like, that's their memory of America. It's a good memory. No, it's a good memory. It's a good memory. Something I think about a lot, in general, like the concept of like meeting people on the internet and becoming friends, and like, you know, that's like a really normal thing these days. And like, I think more than half of the average population would say like they have like, or not the average population. I feel like it would be a solid 50% of people that if you were to ask them like, do you have like a good friend that like you met online through some way or another? Like a lot of people I think would say yes nowadays. I remember when I was in high school, it was actually kind of like, it's how I email pen pals with this one girl in Finland. And like, she was a good friend. And I remember that I had a high school teacher that was kind of like, be careful with people on the internet. Because, you know, different time. This was actually more than 10 years ago now. Honestly, I think about her sometimes. I'm like, I hope she's doing well in life. But yeah, like different time where she was like, yeah, like be careful with giving out your name, like even just your name to this person on the internet, like first name. I don't think she'd be giving that same advice nowadays, of course. Obviously, you still do have to be careful. You truly don't know who is a serial killer, but like that's true people next to you on the bus anyways too. What difference is it between like some stranger next to you on the bus versus some stranger that you play a game with? Not much of a difference, right? So, and it's just like, I don't know, for me, I've never really felt the type that gets along, like, I mean, I can get along with anyone. I'm a pretty, like, agreeable person, I think is the word. But, like, don't really feel like I've, like, meet a lot of people that I become, like, good friends with. And, like, that has changed a little because of the internet. Like, whether it be, like, meeting people playing a game, or meeting people, like, while streaming, or just, like, meeting a friend of a friend in, like, a gaming group, like, that, I think has done a lot of good things for my life. At some point we've flown to the States, but obviously, if we're gonna come over there, we'd have to stop by. Hell yeah, absolutely. I would love nothing more, honestly. You know, like, because obviously, like, you and Lilu, like, we never have met each other in person. But, like, I consider you guys my friends, right? When I met my first proper online friend, the one in Ireland, back in 2015, everyone was like, bro, that's not a real person. That argument just, like, doesn't work anymore, you know? Like, because, I mean, even catfishing is kind of a different culture now than it was back then. Like, I don't know. I think this is one of the ways in which the world has definitely in my opinion, like, changed for the better. Yeah. Because it's just a reality of life that, like, you can't control where you're really born. You have a little bit of control over where you're geographically located, but, like, not that much if you think about it, honestly. A lot of it's still tied to, like, being able to get a job, for example. And, like, getting a job is fucking hard. In, like, depending on your context. So, like, the ability, like, the fact that anyone now kind of has the ability to really find their group of people that, like, find a group of people that, like, understands them and kind of cares about them for them versus, like, being stuck with the, you know, 0.00000% of the world population that is just geographically around you. It's like the world has, in a weird way, I think because of that, the world has become a more understanding place. We're not understanding, but, like, it's not, I'm not trying to express that, like, you get exposed to people you never would have before. I guess, yeah, not in the sense that, like, oh, you meet people you would have never met before, so your mind grows, but it's like, you find your people, TLDR. The main difference between the person on the bus and the person playing video games is being a serial killer is at least you know for a fact the one playing video games has no money because they're spending it on gaming. Serial killers might not have as well, so they kill you. What? I'll move to Japan and buy a house and live there tomorrow if I knew I could get a job and I wouldn't be stuck as an English-only speaker. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's always about the job and money. I actually had a conversation with a friend about this recently. Because, like, me, recently in my life, I start to feel kind of restless again. And, like, this is kind of my pattern, TBH. Like, TBH honest. This is how I am. I will move somewhere and kind of start to get bored and be like, well, what's next? What's next? After some number of years. It's why I've moved so much, I think, in my life. Especially in the last, I want to say, like, decade, right? Well, that's, like, my entire adult life. In my entire adult life, like, I've always moved around a lot because I get restless. And, like, he was saying, like, could you get up and move tomorrow? If you had to, / if you wanted to, or, like, if you could, if it was an option you could have, would you do it? And I was like, oh, absolutely. Just as a philosophical. And then his answer was kind of like, you know, I'd do it if I had a job. And I was like, honestly, those are things that just didn't cross my mind at all because, like, I just have a desire to fucking skedaddle and change it up every once in a while. TBH honest. You're not gonna lie. NLG lie. No, nobody says that. What is it? There's another one. TBH honest and SMH my head. Yeah. I don't know. Life is so short, you know. I want to see everything. And honestly, I've been kind of disappointed in myself. Getting restless, move to New Zealand. Skididdle over here, easy. On my way, say less. I mean, I think moving across countries is definitely a different issue. Just because of, like, borders. But, you know, if I did have the option to just move to New Zealand tomorrow, like, I don't fucking care if I have a job or not. I'm fucking doing it. Like, if the visa issue is handled. That's funny. I'm more concerned about the visa than the job, but you can't really get a visa without a job. Unless, you know, marriage is a different thing. That was a huge burp. And yeah, I don't know. I've always found myself... I never really know if I feel... Rip in peace. Yeah, rest in... R.I.P. in peace. Yeah, that's a good one too. I don't know. Do you feel yourself? Do you feel like you're more of a dreamer or, like, a practical person? You know? Because, like, or just, like, you know, as an example, right? Like, me being like, I'd fucking move. That's my answer because I want to move and see something new. But then my friend, right, he's like, I'd want to make sure I had a job first. Like, that was his first concern. not even like the fear of moving, but like for me it's like I don't have a fear of moving. I don't give a fuck if I have a job or not. Like I'm going. That was a subtle cough. It was a tiny little burp that came out. It's just you and me here today, you know? I can admit that I just let out a burp. Not that someone would, but it'd be hilarious if someone watched the VOD and they're just like, huh? Oh my god, that was kind of funny watching it come through the table. Big lamp. Asking for a marriage for easy entry to New Zealand. Listen, I'm not saying, you know, you can't, I'm not going on the record saying, you know, you can't really, you can't be persecuted for anything, you know what I'm saying? Hi, VOD viewer, hi! I don't think anyone's gonna watch the VOD, but it'd be funny. Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you personally think that, like, I feel like I definitely feel like, I don't want to make assumptions, but you're definitely a very, like, at least in my eyes, I feel like you're a pretty practical person. And, like, admittedly, being practical is something I've kind of struggled with sometimes. I think not on the day-to-day. On the day-to-day, I handle, like, I will be very practical and, like, not skirt my responsibilities. But I think when it comes to the really big things in life, like, I feel like I've always been a little bit more of a, like, I don't want to say the word idealist, that's not quite right, but, like, a bit of a head in my clouds kind of person when it comes to the big choices. If you're a VOD viewer, put a 1 in the comments. If you're not a VOD viewer, put a 2 in the comments. And if you're watching without audio or video, put a 3 in the comments. You have the tab muted and you're tabbed out. I would like to know that I can get the very least a job before I run out of rainy day funds. Okay. Yeah, that's very fair. And again, I think it's like the healthy, normal, good, practical thing to do. Or like way to think. And like honestly, in reality, like me moving anywhere, it is what I would think about. It is what I would think about. It is what I would be thinking about. Like I wouldn't actually move anywhere, I think, without having a job first, like in practical reality. But I guess from a philosophical standpoint, like if I had to get up and go tomorrow, I could fucking do it. I could fucking do it. Because I think I believe in myself enough to get a job wherever I'm going, even any kind of job. Like, I'll get a fucking, like, I don't know, 9-to-5 desk job in fucking telephone sales if I have to. I don't want to, but I'll do it. Okay, this is already feeling really cramped. Like, I don't know where to put stuff, and that's perfect. It's feeling super New York. We can actually make more space by moving a bunch of this shit over. And by that's funny. Make a bunch of space. it's like not much space at all, but you know, the New York. Stuff is just things you can buy again. Yeah. I'm not fussed about moving in visas and cost and accommodation in the form of housing or renting a hotel. I mean, I guess if you go somewhere and get the job, you know, like, I don't know, I feel like visas are stupid, but they are like a fundamental part of how the world works, which is like really frustrating. So it's like, I feel like I could definitely never, like, for example, I don't think I could pack up and move to Japan tomorrow without like at least, well, I don't know, it wouldn't be hard to get a job there, honestly, in Japan, I think. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that, because I think it would be hard to get a job in Japan. But as like a teacher, for example, at least like for me is like, it depends on the person. I think for me it wouldn't be very hard. It'd be doable. And so like I could move to Japan and become a teacher there. Yeah, you know what? Fuck what I said about visas. It does depend on the location though, because I have confidence that I could go to Japan and like kind of get a job there. I don't feel confident that I could move to Egypt tomorrow and get a job. And I mean, you don't really get much lower on the ladder than being a parking warden, so I don't mind doing anything for work. Fair enough. And I think that's like a good mentality and like kind of honestly what'll get you a little bit ahead in like finding a job in a new place. Cause like I'm really picky about the stuff that I do. I'm really picky about work. And like that's my downfall, honestly. Oh, it's already a group. Nice. Okay. Again, this person is kind of like likes to do pottery, so we're gonna have lots of like little pottery, random pottery scattered around there. Not scattered, but like it's nice to imagine maybe they have like a pottery studio. And they like to work at home sometimes, which doesn't really seem safe, honestly. I don't think it's really a good idea to have a pottery wheel in your own house, but whatever. I mean, Russia do something else, but no one is offering jobs here that's any better than what I'm currently doing. I hope Layla's coworkers get an opportunity for me at some point. Yeah. I mean, I hope that VFX person at some point reaches out, like, spontaneously and randomly, because that would be cool. I don't know. If you got, like, you know, free time nowadays, too, cracking open, Blender and just, you know, making some random shit doesn't sound like a terrible idea. It's a good way to pass the time, too. And Pog IRL. It would be super sick. The problem with that is that I have so many other things I should be doing, like studying for flying exams. But at the end of the ninth, now a cold and wet day, I'd rather just get down. That's fair, yeah. For sure. And like, I don't know. That's one of the things, and it's again like different dispositions and like different life situations, and it's like, I don't know. I feel I personally don't really have a lot of like right to be complaining about this, because like I've always been like, I'm so blessed and so lucky for all the opportunities I've had in life, and like there's no one I can really thank for that other than the universe. Of just like, I'm very, very fortunate to be in like the position that I am right now, where like even I come home after like a really long and exhausting day of like, wow, I got yelled at by people today or whatever, but it's like at least I didn't have to stand in the cold rain, right? And it's like everyone has like kind of different life situations, and like I kind of actually had a bit of an argument about something similar to like in this vein with a friend of a friend recently. It's funny, I don't really want to specifically say he's like my friend, because like, he's a nice guy but a little odd, and he was kind of like, I don't understand people who are obese. Like, bro, just buy us, like, it's not hard. Just go to a supermarket and buy some vegetables and like make yourself a healthy meal. And it's like, well, it's not that simple, because like if you look at it, say like if you had $10 US to go into a shop and buy stuff, you could get maybe like a broccoli. You could get like, I don't know, fucking a head of broccoli and a bag of like I'm sorry, I'm having a stroke. You can get like a head of broccoli, a bag of green beans, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know, in terms of like fresh food, like you, at that point you couldn't even get meat. Like you could probably get some eggs and like that's it. What are you gonna do with broccoli, green beans, and egg? Like, yes, those are nutrition and those are healthy for you, but it's like you can buy so much more with $10 of like canned and processed foods, like frozen dinners and stuff like that. You will get so much more for your money by buying processed foods is one thing. And then two, it's like you come home after a 12-day shift that you've been like yelled at by customers and shit like that or whatever, or like, I don't know, you have to go pick up the kids from school too, and it's like you have just, and you like, you have no time left for yourself at that point. You have no time left to cook. So like in the 2-3 hours of actual free time you get in a day before you go to bed, it's like, can you blame someone for rather like spend 10 minutes, go to McDonald's, get a hamburger because it's cheap, and then just go home and pass out on the couch? You know, like it's not a good argument. The bro, just get a salad. And he's kind of like, you know, like, I would make time for it myself still. And it's like, then let's put you in that situation and see if you would. And, you know, to be fair, lots of people are in that situation and do. I don't want to say, like, everyone who's in, like, a bit of a, you know, like, a lower income bracket doesn't make the time for this, because, you know, some people do. And, like, that's very great and, like, you know, power to them. But not everyone does. And, like, I don't know. How upset can you really be with them? Like, how unempathetic and ununderstanding of their life situation can you be that you just tell them, bro, just go buy a salad, go buy and make a salad. Food isn't the only thing, it's time and effort. Yeah. Oh my god, coughing. Yeah, like, honestly, like, this is actually kind of relevant because it was yesterday night that I didn't get home until like 8. Because I was like busy working. And again, mind you though, this is not like, oh, like 10 hours, like heavy shift. Like, oh my god, me and my fucking whiny ass. Like, I was on campus doing some faculty research, like, that like I'm paid for, so I get some, I have some obligations because I get paid for this, but also like, yeah, I was also just working on my thesis, which, like, if you think of it at the end of the day, is still just fun work because, like, it's still me getting to do what I want, no matter what. And, like, I don't have a boss, so, like, it's only me pushing myself as hard as I want to. And literally, I was coming home at, like, 8, and I was like, oh my god, I should just, like, literally, like, order some food or whatever rather than, like, cooking. And then I was in my head, like, oh my god, ordering food would be twice as expensive as cooking what I already have in the fridge. And, like, you know, if I don't cook this, it'll go bad. So it'll be a waste of money on 2 fronts. You know? Feels bad. And then I was also thinking that I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm even, like, fortunate enough to be, like, in a situation that I feel like I can muster up the energy to spend 45 minutes cooking, eat, and then spend another, like, I don't know, 5 minutes washing dishes. And, like, I don't know. Small blessings like that, like, I very cognizantly yesterday was thinking, like, I'm lucky enough that I feel like I can gather the energy to do this actually very laborious and time-consuming task. Imagine being in an economic crisis and judging people for living. Yeah, no, this guy's a little bit odd. Chill dude, like, 90% of the time, but then, like, 10% of the time has no fucking chill at all. It's kind of funny, in a bad way. I saw this thing not too long ago. It was some story about a guy who had been working at Burger King for the last 27 years. And he finally was able to buy a house, but not because of working at Burger King and saving up money, because people had read his story online and started donating to him. And he raised some $270,000 or something so that he could finally buy a home. And, like, I don't know. Everyone was, you know, I was looking at responses to that story, and it was a mix, because people were like, glad he finally got his home, and, like, proof that humanity is good, you know, like, donating money to this, like, hardworking middle-class person who, like, just wants to buy a house, that's it. But then also, like, other half people being like, how fucked is how fucked is our economy that, like, this guy's working for 27 years and can't buy a house himself? It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, this isn't news either, and then, but yeah, also was like, saw this other thing about this guy on the news kind of being like, yeah, I mean, like, boomers are the worst people in the world. Like, we are actively bragging about how we have vacation homes and how at 30 we had, like, financial stability to buy a house and support a family with 2 kids, while insulting millennials. And saying that it's pathetic that, you know, saying they don't want to work anymore, why can't they buy houses? While also protecting the gap that is preventing them from buying a house. And I'm just like, it's so true. It's so fucking true. I haven't had the energy to do dishes after dinner this week, and I felt guilty about it because it's like my own #1 pet peeve, yeah. And it's just, I don't know, the world is just so much more complex now than it used to be, and it's like that. I think that's the worst thing. That's the thing about generational gaps that, like, is the most frustrating thing to deal with, honestly. Like, it, like, I you know, I don't know. I think this is probably something every generation kind of comes into clash with their parents about no matter what. Because the world is becoming more complex every single day. And it's like, you know, my parents when they were young also probably definitely thought the same way. That like, Mom, why can't you understand the world is just different than when you were my age. I don't know, it's kind of an irony. It's ironic because my mom has some regret that, because my mom is in her 60s now, and she has some regret that she's like, when she was, you know, maybe like in her 20s or 30s, telling her mom like, the world is changing, why can't you change with the world? And she regrets saying that to her mom. And I always have such, I think it's something a lot of kids like go through with their parents, where it's like, context, kids who I guess grow up in like a pretty normal average family, like this is not, I don't want to say this is like a generalization of everyone, but like I feel like I grew up in a really normal family, so like for me it's like causes a lot of like honestly emotional grief in that I'm like, yeah, I don't want to tell my mom that because like she has this regret, and it's like, oh god, I think it would hurt her so deeply if like I were to treat her this way too, because she knows how bad she feels about it, and she's on one hand being like, I don't want you to be like get to my age and kind of feel the same way that I do, and because I'm telling you that I feel bad about doing this to my mom and I know it made my mom feel bad, you know, she's very clearly expressing a boundary to me in that, like, even if you feel this way, honestly, like, please understand that, like, it'll make me feel bad. And I'm just like, well, I definitely don't want to make you feel bad, because, like, I love my mom. My mom was, like, did so much for the family, and, like, not every parent is perfect, but my mom was a dang good mom. I love my mom. She's not watching streams, so she's not a fucking paid sponsor for this. But also at the same time, sometimes I really do get frustrated that it's like, she doesn't get she herself doesn't have to face some of the emphasis on the socio-economic problems that like our generation has to face. And it's a little frustrating sometimes to have to like bite my tongue, and a little overwhelming sometimes that like I have this frustration that I want to express, but like she's never gonna understand it because like we're of a different generation. And like as much as, and I also do want to say, like, as much as I'd love for her to understand it and I wish she could see my point of view, sometimes I also just like, I'm not okay with it, but like let go and have to understand and accept that like she's never gonna understand it. And like that I think is like okay too, and like I don't know, just let it go at some point. But like I don't know, because like everything in the world works really differently now. Like the economy is different, even the way we socially interact with each other is like super different. Like this is a little bit of a curse example, but I can't think of a better one right now. But like situationship, I guess, that is something I think she'll never truly really be able to wrap her head around, because I think situationship is very explicitly born from, not explicitly born from, but it was born from like this weird fucking Powerpuff Girls like concoction mix of the internet as well as like general increase of social anxiety because of X number of factors, right? Like social anxiety, I think, is something she'll also never really understand because she comes from a generation that I think like didn't have to deal with it. Like I think social anxiety wouldn't exist without the internet. Not to say internet is the only thing that caused it, but like our migration into the digital age is one of the major factors in why so many people, I think, feel anxious these days. So she can't really understand that type of anxiety. And like, sorry, where this came into social quote-unquote situationship is like, you know, people are more indirect nowadays too, in a sense that like fear of rejection, I think, is a lot deeper now than it used to be, which is why situationships kind of came up. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a better like concept that I think like she will just truly never be able to understand, because like older people can never truly understand because of like you are not experiencing this at this time. And like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like really new recent phenomenon too. Because like there are some things that they can't understand for sure, because it's like it's a feeling that's carried between generations, even if the form of it has changed. It's a general feeling, but like situationship is a very specifically, I think, like really modern thing in IMO. And put a 1 if you're if in the comments if you're a 1 and a 2 if you spamming the chat with 1. I mean, what? Dude, okay, really quick tangent today, because my thesis is kind of about like breathing patterns and exploring the ways we breathe, and I legit watched a video about like Lama's breathing techniques, and I watched a video about fucking how to breathe when you're fucking birthing a child. And it was a 10-minute video, and they were like, do these breathing exercises with me, and they were like, yeah, so moo breathing is gonna be really good for you, like, or moo breathing is a good strategy while you're fucking pushing a baby out of your vagina. And they were like, you know, when you exhale, put your hand in front of your mouth and you can feel the air coming out of your mouth. But if you say the word moo while doing that, you suddenly feel a lot less air coming out of your mouth, because when you're having a baby, you want to be pushing your air down and out through the vagina. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm watching this. And I can't believe I'm sitting there like an idiot in front of my computer going moo and seeing how it impacts the way that I breathe. Or exhale. I don't think anyone needed to know that, honestly. That was a little bit of a TMI, but yee! We are here now. The scale of this entire space is so scuffed, by the way. Like, nothing is properly sized. Please send a message under 500 characters. Oopsies! Yeah. You can split it into 2. Or you can just, like, DM it, the whole message to me right now, and I'll still just read it out loud on stream. You know, it's just you and me vibing here probably today. Ashley Badger's probably still lurking somewhere, but it's a really chill day. I love the art streams so much. They're just so chill. And honestly, sometimes the things that we talk about are a little unhinged, but that's life, you know. I'd rather be authentic and say my unhinged shit. Well, not... When I say unhinged specifically, I don't mean it in like a negative context, as if I'm about to start spewing racial slurs. That's never acceptable in any context. But just like, I don't know, no filter. I will kind of say what's on my mind and speak my truth. Would it be kind of crazy to put this on top of the counter thingy here? This feels New York too. Putting a plant somewhere like it shouldn't be temporarily because you're trying to make room in your apartment for something else at the moment, i.e. doing pottery. I also just sat in front of my phone going moo, so now look what you know. But you notice like there's not as much air coming out. It's because that air is kind of being pushed down into your diaphragm. My parents are the same. They had a reality shock when I went home over Easter and looking at my bank, seeing how little money I have despite working a 45-hour week, and seeing how much I don't spend when they've been telling me this whole time to be like, oh, keep working, you'll get there, and just go to place and ask for a job and then looking for the yes! At the current job, and literally everyone's only offering minimum wage or requires bachelor's, master's, senior level experience in the field. Yeah. And like, honestly, I don't know. Remember when I was rigorously job hunting when I first graduated? And like, again, I had a degree. You know, I'm so lucky that I had a degree. And like, it was pandemic. It was really hard to get a job. And my mom, like, I think I had been, that was like my third failed interview in like 2 weeks for a job that I wanted. And I was feeling pretty shitty about myself, honestly. Like, I don't know. There's nothing more soul crushing and like confidence destroying than the modern job market. And my mom was like, it's like, go to X location and ask for Y job. It's like, no, I can't do that because like even the people who are hiring are non-confrontational and they don't accept like me showing up to their office. And like, that's crazy. I'm not a psycho. Like, maybe it's in your day when like, you know, your only available job market is just what you have geographically near you. So like, in some cases, it's okay to just go to a place and talk to a receptionist and be like, hey, I'm really interested in this job. Can I talk to someone about this? That works. It does. And like, you know, in back then, like you're competing with like, say you're competing with like, you know, 50 qualified people, 50 other people for that job. And, you know, probably only 10 of them are up to the actual level of qualifications that like the job wants, or like same level of qualification of as you. So like you're equally competitive with them for the job, right? That's not true anymore because like everything is digital. It's like, oh my God, I'm not competing with 10 people with my same qualifications. I'm competing with 10,000 people with my same qualifications. Oh no, oh no. Fuck. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. It doesn't tell me I ever went offline, which is good. Like, it just... I think it crashed briefly, but not for long enough that it would stop the stream. I hate it when it stops the stream and then starts again. I hate that. But yeah, okay. As soon as you get first time, you might not get it. Gotcha. But yeah, my mom was basically telling me, you know, first time you might not get it, second time you might not get it, third time you might not get it, fourth time you might not get it, fifth time you might not get it, but fifth time you'll get it. And I'm like, I don't think that's true in the world anymore. Like, job hunting is a numbers game these days. Like, I don't know, back in her day, it's like you'd apply to 10 jobs, you'd get ghosted by 7, and then you'd interview with the remaining 3, and then you'd get the 1. But like, nowadays, it's like, I'll apply to 100 jobs, and I'll still get ghosted by all but 3 of them, and then I'm still not gonna get the job. Back at when you said 5th time, oh, okay, so so this part of the story came through. Yeah, and it's just, you know, that the competitive applicant pool is so much bigger these days than it was back then. And again, another reason why I think like this type of anxiety is like fear of rejection is much more prevalent, I think, in like people my age or like my sister's age. My sister's 6 years older than me. Like fear of rejection, not feel of failure. Fear of rejection specifically is much more deeply ingrained in us than it was in my parents' generation. And it's like, it is such a deep-rooted fear though, that it like pervades all aspects of our lives. Hence like what we were saying earlier about like situationship of like, yeah, sometimes you just don't want to make the move and you don't want to commit, or commitment's a different thing, but sometimes you don't want to make the move because you are a little bit afraid of rejection. I think I've caught up again. Okay, nice. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It does seem like... I was actually talking to one of my friends who's my age. I think, actually, they're a year younger, but my generation still. because right now they're also on my thesis team, and they're working with one of the engineers who's like the youngest person on the entire team. He's a sophomore in college, I think. Like, he's really young, but like, you know, he's like, his attitude, he's a chill dude. So they were kind of like, oh my gosh, yeah, when he said lock in unironically, we were talking about like just generational communication differences. And I was like, honestly, Heat 2000s, baby, yeah. Honestly though, I was like, I love Gen Z, truly, like peak Gen Z. Like, I consider myself kind of a zillennial, where I'm like a little too young to be like a millennial, because like I wasn't job hunting when the stock market crashed in 2008, like the American stock market. But I also, I'm not a Zoomer. I really am not a Zoomer. I remember life before the internet, which is like an important, usually one of the major distinctions between like, Zoomers and like millennials. Like, millennials remember life before the internet, and I do remember that, like myself. No internet, no phones. Exactly, yeah. So I really remember life before, like, I mean, I don't remember specifically life without the landline, but I remember life without internet and smartphones really clearly. So like, honestly, I love Gen Z because they're so fucking unhinged and like go-getters. I saw this really funny thing that said like, oh, Gen Z in the work, it was a joke that's like, millennials hate Gen Z in the workspace because like they'll be asked to get 100 sheets of white paper, and it's like, in my day I would have just grabbed a pack of paper and counted 100 manually, and Gen Z is like, oh, I just photocopied like nothing and asked it to copy nothing 100 times. And millennials are like, yeah, in my no, that's actually a lot smarter. That's a lot smarter to do. And it's like, I don't know. People in the comments of that post were also saying like, we love Gen Z because they stand up for when we're being mistreated. Millennials are really used to being like, yes sir, like being yes men basically. But millennials are like, nah dude, I'm gonna log off at 5, and like after that, that's my time. Zillennial, or Gen Z specifically, is like good at standing up for themselves. And it's like, not just that, but standing up for others. Throwing rocks at trees and climbing into places where I shouldn't be. That's me, baby! I wish. I desire to be monkey and just climb trees and throw rocks. I have truly accomplished, like, nothing in today's stream. It's fine. I don't really care. I'm having a good time still. Just hanging out. That's what the art streams are meant to be. Just kind of chill. Ways to unwind and decompress after long days, weeks, years. Fuck y'all. Fuck all y'all. I'm showing up to my shift when it starts and leaving and ends. If you want to have a meeting, then you gotta pay me to be there, or have it during work hours, bestie. Exactly, yeah. And like, that's the right thing to say. That is the right thing to say. Don't let people take advantage of you. And it's like, I don't know. The last like professional workplace I was in, you could tell it was run by millennials and like people who had been hurt in corporate environments before. And like, you know, I literally had my last boss say to me, like, because he spoke in a way that was really terrible to me and I didn't like it, and I finally decided, I'm just like, I'm gonna kind of bring this up honestly. And he was like, and you know, if you don't like the way we work, like, you know, like I had to go through this, and you know, you going through this is just paying your dues. And I was kind of like, huh, that's not right. Like, I'm sorry that you were treated shittily like that, but that doesn't give you the right to treat me shittily. And like, I don't know, I kind of let him be a dick to me for a while, and then one day I was just like, no, like, I have a high tolerance for letting people step on me, honestly. Like, I don't stand up for myself very often. I stand up for other people a lot, but I don't stand up for myself very often. And I was like, no, fuck you. Genuine, honest to God, fuck you. My old manager got so mad when I told him I wasn't going to show up on my weekend, when Monday was still my weekend unless you pay me for showing up. Yeah. And like, I don't know. He even went and told his manager. And it's like, people of that generation also have like a fucked up view of like what good work is. Because I also remember another thing my last boss said to me, that like the terrible one. He was also like, okay, well, you have two people, right? You have two employees. One of them works 60 hours a week. One of them works 80 hours a week. Which one's going to get promoted? And he very quickly was like, obviously the guy who works 80 hours a week. And I'm like, In my head, I was kind of like, no, I think I would promote the guy who works 60 hours a week because the likelihood of them getting the same number of shit done, again, contextually, like, you have to ask questions like, how much work did the 80-hour-a-week person get done? Because if they did the same amount of work, then no, you should promote the 60-hour-a-week guy because he found a way to do all of the same stuff as the 80-hour-a-week guy, but in a much more efficient manner. And it's like, you should promote people, because promotions eventually lead to like leadership positions, right? And it's like, you want people who are efficient and clever in leadership positions. And like, again, if this person figured out a way to do it in 60 hours instead of 80, that also probably means they're good at keeping calm under pressure. Whereas the person who did 80 hours probably spent 2 hours like having a mental breakdown of like, what the fuck am I doing? You know? Always be looking to like, yeah, promotion should not come from hours. It should come from creativity with solving production problems. And then his manager called me and he was like, why aren't you coming in? It's an important work meeting. And I was like, bro, it's my weekend. Are you going to pay me? And he literally just hung up. Didn't even answer the question. Yeah, fucking babies. 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 If someone like doesn't have the courage and professional capability to answer such a simple question, ask them like, you want me to get your pacifier? Or would you like one of your, like, would you like you know, your manager to do it for you? I don't know. Obviously, like, again, my life has not been terrible in any way, shape, or form. But I will say, like, I feel like I've gone through some pretty shitty work environment experiences in that, like, it's really, really made me develop zero patience for asshole behavior. Like, me, I still have a bit of a problem of like not standing up for myself sometimes, in the sense of like, someone's like, hey, can you do this thing? And I'll be like, or like, can you do this thing by the end of the day? And I'll be like, and in my head I'm like, no, that'll take me 3 days. But I'm just like, I'll do my best. I still kind of do that. But I think like when it comes to stuff like, you know, unreasonable, I don't know, I'm better at standing up for others than myself, but it's just like, developed really very little patience for bullshit. I've gone through 3 shitty employers. I'm not putting up with anymore. I don't care. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Bad experiences really hardens you up sometimes. And I don't know. It's really important to learn to draw boundaries, and like, I will say definitely of all like my friends and like that I like people that are like really peak Gen Z that I know, it's like, wow, you guys just have boundaries? Can you teach me? Because it's like, I also already feel like I don't have a lot of boundaries drawn, but like the ones I do have, I'm just like, what the fuck? I went through trauma to fucking learn to draw these boundaries. Nice. Nice-oo. Oh, we're gonna put another flower real quick. Excuse me. Getting a little tired. I don't know. Do you ever find yourself longing for living in another time? Sometimes I think about that, because in my head I'm just like, I really do wish I kind of lived in a more complex, or sorry, I kind of hate that the world is so complex in the way that it is now, and I'm like, oh, I do wish I lived in a simpler time, but also at the same time I don't. I'm kind of like, I mean, I've been able to enjoy the benefits of living in a more complex world too, you know? So, I don't know, it's a bit of a mixed bag, at least for me personally. I think my final answer would kind of be no, though. Just because, like, I guess even the experiences that I've had that have, like the experiences that I've had that are, like, would not have happened to me, say, like, 50 years ago. I wouldn't be the same person I am today without those either, and it's just like, well, you know, I think it's a valid... I guess it would be a valid reason to just be like, well, what if I don't want to be this person that I am right now? I think that's a valid way to answer the question, but I'm like, well, I don't know what that person's life would be like, you know? I might be even more unhappy, who knows? And, like, this isn't even just, like, a gender thing. Like, 50 years ago, like, I would have very few rights, obviously. But just, like, the way the modern world works, you know? Living in an age without the internet would have saved me some difficulties, but it also would mean that, like, I wouldn't have met you, stuff like that. I think about being a wheat farmer in Europe way back then, and I think about the fact that they died and if they got a sore throat, I'm like, maybe not, yeah. I don't know. So, TLDR, the world being a complex thing. Sometimes you want to run from it, but sometimes it is the thing that it is, like, I don't know, part of the reason why you can have a good life right now, too. Life is weird, eh? Also, maybe this is just the most copium way of thinking, but I also am just like, you know, all of these experiences, like, that any person has in their life, even if you right now are not the person you want to be, they're kind of gonna add up at some point to helping you become the person you want to be. Hopefully. Maybe it's a bit of an optimistic view on things, but sure as hell beats being pessimistic, I guess. If that ain't copium, I don't know what is. It did be kind of fucked up that we're all on this planet at the same time. Dude, I know, right? Why do I exist when you exist? I saw this thing that's like, okay, guys, listen. I know the world is kind of fucked right now, but can you believe you exist at the same time as Bulbasaur? And I'm like, ah, shit, you got me. You know, Detective Pikachu's on Netflix now. Another thing I was thinking about, I was like, damn, Pikachu's so fucking cute in this movie. Like, they really made the Pokemon look so good in Detective Pikachu. I haven't seen that movie. Oh no! Well, if you have Netflix, definitely recommend watching Detective Pikachu. I liked it a lot. It was a fun movie. Like, leaves you feeling pretty good at the end. And, like, you know, that's all I want from a movie these days. Oh, okay, you know, some movies leave you feeling bad, and that's fine too. But, you know, for Detective Pikachu, I know they weren't gunning for the Oscar. They just wanted to go for a cute, wholesome Pokemon movie, and, like, they did it. And I felt good watching it. Also, yeah, Really quick, I don't want to be a Debbie poopy head, but Nuri, do you not have work today? Because I'm honestly having a really great time. Just like having you around chatting shit. It's been pretty quiet at the art streams recently, which is not a bad thing. I'm not complaining. But it is nice having some company right now. We'll say. Oh, you are at work. I'm not taking any work, though. It's school holidays, so town is dead and it's raining. Ah, gotcha. Okay, so we're hanging out. Nice. Yeah, I appreciate having you hanging out here. I think the last movie I watched was a 1.5-hour compilation of 2 Scottish guys playing Elden Ring. 8 out of 10 stars on IMDb. I've not laughed that much in quite a while. It was so good. That's good. Laughter is good. You know, another thing I've been thinking about recently? Like, I met a friend of a friend, and he was kind of saying, like, you're very quick to laugh. And it was another thing I was thinking about that I was like, because he was like, you know, like, you seem like a generally happy person. And I'm like, I would say I'm pretty content, you know? There's not much I feel like in life to not be content about. But it was another thing that I was thinking about where it's like, it's a bit of an interesting, I think, generalization, I guess, to have made about a person. Because I don't know. I personally don't know if I would agree in the statement that, like, quote, quote, I'm a happy person. It's kind of more like being quick to laugh and, like, letting things go. I'm just like, that is a bit of a choice I make. Honestly, TBH. Honestly, TBH. Honestly, TBH, honest. It is a choice I make, you know? Honestly don't know what's going on with the windows here. They're fucking borked, dude. It's okay though. Kedzer, I was lurking. Hello. I was lurking. I heard you talking about one of them in a past area about a future one. Also, hello, my friend. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. Imagine we live up to the time where they send humans to colonize other planets. That would be cool. That'd be cool. It would be cool to see, like, something different. Like, oh my gosh, it'd be cool to see the surface of Venus, but I do hope that we are more respectful of that planet than ours. Because Earth humans done a banged up job of fucking up our planet. Don't fuck up another planet, please. We have a friend! Friend! Please do indeed, don't let me disturb you in your lurking if you prefer it that way, but it is good to see you again. Or I guess hear from you again. I don't know if you've kind of lurked in general recently, but, you know, long time no see. I hope all is well, you know, July is going great. Honestly, I feel like we need to redo the building. Like, genuinely need to redo the building because the windows are so fucked here. Honestly, is it not a New York apartment if it's just not even? Like the walls or the floors, there's something going on. I think it's because I tried to add this thing. It's not working. I genuinely think it might be a little easier to start the building over with the little window area in mind. No, well, I mean, I do have this. This is because I think I borked the strategy for cutting it out in the first place. I think if I does this have sorry, I'm thinking what my best move here is. Yeah, let's just start over from the ground up. Doing well. How are you guys? Doing pretty well myself. You know, just enjoying the summer. Thank you for asking. We're descending into madness slowly. Truly, yeah, we've had some deep conversations this stream. And you know, that's the fun stuff though. And that's the benefit of like smaller chill stream. I just get to hang out with my buds and fucking talk about whatever we want to talk about. I hope we do better than this one too. Yeah. We joined the right band then. Hell yeah. I'm honestly, it's funny. I actually was also recently having a bit of a deeper conversation with a friend. Like not like a best friend, you know, not like someone I've known for a long time, and they were kind of like, "Oh, sorry to kind of turn this into like a bit of a dark, deep conversation." And I was like, "Nah, dude, like you got nothing to apologize for. Like this is where it's at, honestly." Okay, maybe I don't need to start over. Actually, I can just, let's start by deleting some of the, you know, the vertices that we hadn't wanted to begin with. And wait, let me... And yeah, we'll start it, but whatever changes I'm gonna do won't finish this week. I am getting a little tired, so I kind of want to wrap up within the next 30 minutes, so... Those are the best. Exactly, yeah, because he was kind of like, oh, sorry to, you know, deeper conversation. And I was like, nah, dude, like, this is where the good shit's at, honestly. This is where I feel like you actually become friends with someone. Because other than that, it's just fucking, what's the difference between having a conversation with, like, you know, me and just some stranger on the bus ride. Really coming back to a lot of bus rides, I guess, today. And just, yeah, like provocative conversations, you know? Stimulating conversations. Stimulating conversations. Because admittedly, I get kind of bored in conversations pretty easily. Like small talk, I will get bored so fast and just be like, bye. You can't really learn anything about someone or bond with them over superficial. Exactly. A lot of strangers on the bus ride for one stream. I know, right? We're at our bus ride quota. Is there anything, like, because we were talking about, like, living in a future era, like, is there anything, like, you would just love to see in the future? I don't know. Like, what do you hope for in the future? Five, 4, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going crazy. Hello, Snow. How you going? And that's not good. I don't want to hear you're going crazy. What's up? Or, you know, why don't we all go crazy together? Fuck it, YOLO, we ball. I hope that I win the lottery. Yeah, dude, same. I hope in the future we have genuinely found and established world peace. Because I am sick of the world fighting the same stupid wars for no fucking reason. You would have thought that by 2024 we would have figured out how to use words in diplomacy. Like, guys, we are not monkeys anymore. It is 2020 fucking 4. We are not monkeys. Use your words. But it just seems that humans don't learn. Yep. I'm just alright with rolling punches. How you guys doing? You know, honestly, that's all we could really do in life, man. Just roll with the punches. This is really the stream about the punches, eh? Honestly, that'd be one for me too, but it's unlikely to happen considering how many different ideals there are in different religions. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I would also... My next instinct is to say, like, okay, centralization of religion and ideology. And I'm like, nope, that's not a good thing either. That's not a good thing either. Homogeny is bad. But I don't know. I'm a little sick of the world being hateful for just the purposes of being hateful. Like, we are literally humans. What's the word? There's a word for it, but it's basically like humans are at actually the end of our evolutionary chain. Like, we are an apex species. Like, we have reached the highest level of evolution that we're ever gonna reach. And it's like, you really would have thought... I'm gonna Google it real quick. Why do animals keep evolving into crap? What the fuck? Okay, okay, if I find it, I'll, like, talk about it next time. But it's like, there is, like, this theory. I mean, it's not scientifically proven. Who knows, we could grow gills one day. But it's like, from a history perspective, combined with, like, the way, I guess, evolution occurs and the patterns of evolution. Like, humans haven't evolved in so long that, like, the theory is that we are at the end of our evolutionary chain. We will no longer ever evolve. And, like, yeah, there's just kind of, we're never gonna evolve past what we are right now. So we are at our highest level of evolution. And you literally would have thought that by, like, being here, we would be a little fucking smarter. Honestly, it'll be one for, the rain's nice to get lost in, though, unless you gotta work. Yeah, getting soaked is not a vibe. Stuck outside walking in the cold. Hope you don't catch, like, get pneumonia or anything. Make sure you got, like, good waterproof boots. Since I'm a sci-fi nerd, that makes it easier for us to have a better quality of life. I hope humans take action on global warming before it's too late, too. That, too. That, too. Like, I would love to see for humans to stop being so self-serving all the time, too. You know, only do what gets you ahead in life. Yeah. I don't know, from a selfish perspective, too, helping other people helps you. So I kind of wish we would all stop just focusing on helping ourselves so much. You know what I'm saying? Only another hour, 2 hours to go. Hell yeah, we're getting there. Then is the weekend. You're not born with brains, sadly. True. You know what I do want to see in terms of actionable steps in the future? Because I think world peace is a hard one to actually achieve. I want better public education. Better free public education. Because, my God, I am also just sick of the number of uneducated people spewing all over the world. Like, holy shit. I think my belief is, like, education is kind of the cure to most of the world problems. And, like, I don't know. Like, education is, well, this is not a hot take, but education obviously is the path. Education is the key to, I think, fighting corruption, too, because when people are educated on a topic and can think for themselves, they're a lot harder to control, right? And it's like, I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on, but, like, conspiracy is that, like, you know, American government wants to gatekeep education because, you know, the larger population. I don't want to just say American government, but like in America where higher education is basically a business, right? Because you have to pay so much to get an education. Not like other countries where like education is free or like the government kind of subsidizes it for you. Like, not every country, of course, but like, I'm just gonna focus on America because I'm used to the American education system, where it does operate like a business, and like education, because it's so prohibitively expensive, is gatekept. And it's like, well, I would argue that like the government and like politicians like that, because the fewer educated people you have walking around in the world, the more people you can control more easily and get them to sway to your side just by spewing random stuff that they don't know if it's true or not, right? But as soon as someone has, like, it's, again, age-old quote, knowledge is power. Like, as soon as you can go fact-check something for yourself, suddenly other people don't have so much control over you because you can develop your own opinions, you know? From what I've seen about America is that y'all should have trains as well. We should have trains! Yes, we should have, like, high-speed rails connecting the country because, like, dude, the fact that I have to get on a plane to go, like, from, like, either, like, say, for example, driving from here to Washington State, that would either be, like, a bajillion-hour drive or I'd have to get on a plane. Like, why can't I just take a train? Those top people want to keep people dumb. Exactly. And so, like, I don't know. That's why, like, I remember, I also know, like, a lot of New Yorkers in particular, but, like, I really like Michelle Obama. And, like, I mean, that is not a spicy opinion either. A lot of people like Michelle Obama. But, like, specifically because she, like, really just wanted to advocate for a better schooling system and better public education. And it's like, it would benefit so many of us. And the funniest thing is the people that are the most, like, hateful and, like, anti-public education are the dumbest people that could truly use a public education. It's ironic. And I don't know. The thing is, like, when you have an education, it encourages you to learn more in general. It encourages you to be, not, I don't want to, like, yeah, I don't want to say that, like, just because you don't go to school doesn't mean you become a curious person. But I also would argue that, like, education breeds curiosity, right? So, like, if you, like, giving people, having an educated population also will lead to, in general, more faster innovation, because more people will be pushing for it. And I don't know. I personally don't think this is a hot take, but something I try to keep myself in check on a lot is, like, not everyone has the same beliefs as you, Penky, and that's fine. So, like, things that, you know, that's why I feel like I have a tendency to say, like, I would argue, because I'm just like, yeah, some people might not feel this way, honestly. Like, in the last, like, 2 years of my life, I've had some pretty weird run-ins with, like, conservative people that, honestly, I don't want to be mean, but I really am just like, God, if you went to school past, like, or not, that's kind of a condescending thing to say, but it was kind of just like, God, I mean, what are you, like, what, like, girl, what, do you hear yourself? And it's like, if you ever really thought to think for yourself a little bit, you would kind of maybe not be saying these things. Please don't regurgitate something that, like, Daddy said just because Daddy said it, you know? Also, I've never seen a train. Really, Snow? Like, I guess, like, I guess where you live, you don't really have trains, or, like, even, like, major cross-state trains, because there are a couple. Like, there's stuff like Amtrak in the US. It's not, like, you know, nationwide, but does a good job of connecting, for example, like Seattle and LA, and it connects like Boston and DC. I mean, not trying to get political here, but since you mentioned Michelle, as someone from EU, I think Obama was probably the most well-spoken and maybe educated president for a good while. Yes. Oh boy, don't get me started on that. I knew someone exactly just like you described, and it was quite something to have a conversation with. And yeah, it's just the funniest thing as well. I will say, like, not true of everyone, but like I also kind of feel like the more firmly someone stands by their opinions, sometimes it almost feels like a lack of education. Because I would say that, like, the people who... And honestly, like, I'm fucking stubborn too, and I'm guilty of this too, kind of standing by my beliefs to some extent that are, like, probably unbased, and maybe I should research them too. You know what? Maybe I should hit the books. I should go renew my library card. But, like, I don't know. My experiences with people who I feel are, like... It's just like, okay, you were just so uneducated for saying these things. Like, they will die by their opinions. But, like, people who I think are really educated and, like, not just educated, but intelligent, like, they're a lot quicker to, I don't want to say back down from their beliefs, but they're very quick to listen to what you have to say and let you finish. But the people who are, like, truly the dumbest will not listen to you. And I'm just like, what the fuck? It's, like, not even just bad education. It's like, you are not a properly socialized person. But, you know, I mean, also, you know, politics on a public stream is always a slippery slope. But I also will say, it's pretty clear, I guess, based on, like, I feel like at this point, my opinions on a lot of things have become clear. And, like, a lot of people can pretty easily see that I'm, like, I'm not a conservative person. Like, and, like, you know, I definitely try not to just be, like, I don't mean this as in, like, being conservative is a bad thing. Like, I try definitely my best to think through kind of my beliefs and, like, question them as much as I can. Like, do I have this because maybe my peers believe this thing? Or do I have this belief because I believe it myself? Like, that's a different conversation. And, like, yeah, for sure, I definitely gotta say, like, my strength of my beliefs and, like, I will die on this hill, that list of things that I say I will die on this hill has definitely changed in my baby because my environment has changed in the last 2 years. Like, for example, I have friends who care a lot more, I think, about economic policy from undergrad, and, like, I used to also have a lot of really strong opinions on this thing and be vocal about them. And, like, not to say I've kind of lost, I think, my opinions, but, like, I did notice, like, not being with this group of people has made me a little less vocal about it. And so, like, always keep yourself, I guess... Sorry, where was I going with this? But, like, yeah, this... people that come around here, I'm gonna just put it this way, we are not, like, fucking conservative rednecks, you know? Like, I fucking loved Obama, and I would love for him to come back. Like, there were, like, of course there's a list of things, like, I don't mean that, like, a long list, but of course there's, a handful of things that, like, I disagree with that, like, he had in his beliefs, but, like, I liked the guy. I think he really was trying to fight for a better world, not just do what he was told, such as certain other presidents. Anyways, but, like, I loved Michelle. I still love Michelle Obama. I think she's a fucking queen. If she were to run for president, oh my gosh, like, I would be out on the streets with, like, my picket sign being like, Obama for president! No, not her husband! We each have a lot of highways, damn. Yeah. The US is such a big country. I really don't understand why, like, we don't invest more in, like, high-speed rail. It's weird. Can't believe you're calling me uneducated for saying my blender is better. Yeah, you stupid. No, I'm kidding. I mean, blender is better, I agree. But depends on for what purpose. Educated by TikTok. Exactly. Like, And I just can't understand, like, another thing that I definitely have a hard time comprehending about, like, the modern world is how quickly people are to adopt beliefs without checking them, right? Because, like, you do see something on TikTok and it's so appealing that, like, it's suddenly what you believe. And I'm just like, dude, go read a fucking book. Like, go look at Wikipedia for 6 minutes. Like, oh gosh, just the human attention span has, I think, decreased. I think our ability to retain knowledge has also deeply increased, which is, you know, big good thing. But the human ability to concentrate and do something, like, in a detailed way has probably decreased a little. Hear me out. I like testing people who are stubborn to see how they got their point of view. I like this. I really like this a lot. Like, tell me why you believe this. And actually, oh my gosh. Oh my god, this is so funny. I actually have a story that, oh man, I don't really want to share, but I also do want to share. But I had a run-in with someone once that was like, I really hate X group of people, and I refuse to buy any products made in this country. And actually, funnily enough, like, I feel like there's a lot of, like, anti-China propaganda and racism going around. It's the omitted country I'm talking about is not China. That's funny. But they were saying that, and I was like, well, why? And they were like, I just don't like them. And I literally told them, that's racist to say that. And they're like, I'm not, and they were so butthurt. They're like, I'm not racist. It's just my belief. And I'm like, your belief can be racist. And, like, oh my god, she was so mad. It was kind of funny. That person I was talking about, 90% of the conversation with them is just speaking shit they heard on TikTok without ever Googling about it. Yeah. And, like, it's a thing that kind of baffles me a little bit too, because I will say on average, I think people definitely are smarter these days. Well, okay, I don't want to say smarter, but I think we've talked about this before too, where, like, the internet double-edged sword, right? Because we no longer have to go to the library to really become educated on something. And because, like, say you're stuck in some deep redneck town in the deep south, because you have the internet, we are so much more empowered to develop our own opinions and fact check things that just don't sit right with us in our gut, right? Like, you know, things that are just like, no, that's a little odd. We can now just go to any local public library and, like, get a library card and look it up on the computers there. So because, like, thanks to the advent of the internet, the ability to become educated on any topic has empowered us so much. But because so many stupid people are on the internet, it has also enabled us to become lazy in terms of, I would say, questioning our biases, right? It's weird because, like, I don't know, say back in however long ago, say, like, 50s, 60s, when, like, our only source of news was the local newspaper or the radio. Like, again, none of this is really based research, honestly. This is just kind of my intuitively how I feel. So, like, I shouldn't really be saying these things either because I have not done any research to back them up. But in my head, like, my logic just goes as, like, when you're in the 50s or 60s, you're kind of like, yeah, no, this logic is not right. And, like, I guess you are more cognizant that, like, your knowledge pool is local and probably prone to a lot of bias, right? Being polluted by this bubble of like-minded people you're in. We almost have, I think, maybe lost that because of the internet, where it's like, oh, well, it's on the internet. The internet is a global thing. So, like, you don't realize you're in this pool of, say, 1 million people who feel the same way as you, because they're not like a geographic thing. You think it's more global because it's on the internet, but in reality, it's actually still the same effect as like just being stuck in your hometown, tiny little bubble of thought. And like, I don't know, that concept of geographic, of like like-minded thinking due to geography has almost dissolved, but it's like kind of reshown itself in a virtual sense of the online communities that you frequent, right? Yeah. They get introduced to fake news, but their brains can't use common sense. Exactly, yeah. I think because the world is freer and bigger than it's ever been, we've, yeah, kind of lost a little bit of the ability to quote, quote, free our minds, if that makes sense. That's some weird hippie shit. You know, honestly, I don't mean to sound like an anarchist. TikTok is toxic for people overall, even if you ignore all the bullshit there. It messes with your attention span so much. Some people nowadays can't even watch a movie without losing their patience. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually funny. I kind of had that exact same thing this morning where I was watching some TED Talks as part of my research for thesis, and I just found myself fidgeting a lot with my hands and like picking up my phone and then being like, no, put this shit down, otherwise you can't concentrate on this actually important video you're watching. I had to like kind of remind myself a lot to be like, no, concentrate. Which like honestly didn't feel good. I wasn't proud of it. Very true, honestly, that I don't mess with TikTok at all. Yeah, I don't really... Yeah. My toxic trait is that I watch TikToks on Instagram Reels. Deadass. You mean as in people living in echo chambers, or? Yeah, kind of in that sense, where it's like, I don't know, you know, back before the invention of the internet, like, it was a little hard to get, like, global news sometimes because of, like, you have to wait for, like, hearing it on the radio or reading it in the newspaper, and even then, it's, like, it's still a lot of propaganda, like, written by your local news. And so, like, you would develop a very similar point of view to the people around you because you guys were all consuming the same news from the same news source. So yeah, echo chamber. Sorry, I had to think through. I was like, wait, what does echo chamber mean? But, like, intuitively, I'm assuming it makes sense. Like, intuitively, it seems like echo, right? Like, you say something and someone says it back to you, and because of that, it's reinforced. I suck at spelling, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. No, we're talking about, like, what I was talking about with, like, the localized news, essentially. And, like, you know, I feel like we are all... So, I think what I was trying to say, essentially, is, like, because people were really... I think people were a lot easier at identifying when they're in an echo chamber. Because it's like, well... I am living in this deep south redneck town surrounded by rednecks. And because I've kind of realized that, I start to question my set of beliefs because it's like, wow, I'm just surrounded by these rednecks with redneck beliefs. It's a lot easier for us to recognize that, but I think in digital communities, like, we are still surrounded in echo chambers, but we are kind of a little less... we don't question it quite as much. Because, like, okay, this online community might not all be made up of rednecks, right? And it's like, well, actually 7 different diverse ethnicities still believe this thing. And so it's like, it's not a problem with, like, you know, racism, essentially, where it's like, or not, I don't want to say racism, sorry, not that I don't want to say racism. Racism's not the correct word here. It's not like we have a scuffed, shared point of view because of some sort of, how do I say this? So I'm trying to, I'm trying to think, is ethnography the right word I'm looking for? I don't think it's quite the right word, but basically it's like, you know, okay, so yeah, you can't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna question these redneck beliefs, because when you're in an online community, you can't really point to something geographical that would cause you to have the echo chamber, right? And I think it's because digital communities, it's really easy to say, sorry, I'm trying to think about the best way to express this. It's really easy to say, like, yeah, no, you just think like a small town person. Because that's an easy quantifiable thing. You can't really say that to someone in a digital community, because it's like, oh, well, you might still have problematic views, but, like, this person lives in, say, fucking New York City. It's like, no, you imagine them to be a very modern metropolitan person. So it's like, well, you know, it can't be your small town, like, problem. It can't be your small town community that made you develop this problematic view. And because, like, they seem more worldly almost because of it, you don't really question the fact that you're still having the echo chamber effect just in a digital community. I don't think that's really well explained. In an online community, the person can live on the other side of the planet and have the same mindset. Exactly. And, like, it's a lot harder to question yourself and question problematic beliefs in general, because a lot of problematic beliefs, I think, are easy to point out are problematic because it's like, oh, you don't have a worldly view. But when someone's online, it's like, well, no, they actually might have a worldly view and still have a problematic point of view. I think, sorry, I just have been getting so lost in my words for the last, like, 10 minutes, but I think essentially that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, when there's a physicality to it, it's a lot easier to recognize when you're being in an echo chamber because of, you can point to some other similarities, like, maybe similar ethnicity, similar upbringing. It's harder to identify an echo chamber when you're online, because you guys have all come from different ethnicities, come from different backgrounds, but you still have all arrived at the same point of view. So it's the point of view. You don't realize you're in an echo chamber of point of view, not an echo chamber in terms of, like, similarity of backgrounds. Does that make sense? Learned a new word, Lamau. I don't even think... Ethnography is a little bit kind of, I think, what I'm trying to talk about a little bit, but also not. Lol. Yee! It actually makes sense. I don't really know objectively if it makes sense or not. This is just kind of like, I don't know, something that I feel in my gut about, like, why we don't question things we see on the internet just randomly quite as much. But, like, I think people are pretty good for the most part these days about, like, well, I don't want to say people, but I think we are better at seeing something in a newspaper and being like, huh? Than seeing something on a website and being like, huh? But again, I have no idea. Unbased hypothesis that needs research to support it. I'd actually find it kind of funny if I were to suddenly just be like, I'm gonna conduct a social experiment about this. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, people are actually, like, questioning the things they see on the internet more. And I think I've just become, like, cynical and have lost faith in humanity. That's kind of on me. But, you know, regardless of if it's a pattern of humanity or not, like, everyone can learn, everyone can change. Everyone can always become better, more educated versions of themselves. And that's, and I mean everyone, myself included. Because I don't want to be stupid. To me it does. That's why you see online communities form all around the world, and just being absolutely hateful despite having different backgrounds is an extreme example, but easier to see it. Exactly, yeah. And like, I don't know. Something I think about a lot too is just the concept that we seek out. I read this, essentially, like, we seek out people who are similar to us, right? And it makes sense. Like, people who have similar interests, it's easy to find things to talk about. If you don't have interest with anyone, you're never gonna, like, common interests with anyone, you're never really gonna become a friend because you have nothing to talk about. And, like, so it makes sense where, like, I don't know, also geographically, sometimes you feel frustrated because you're forced to be with the people that are around you. And maybe here's the thing, maybe it's never about their beliefs, but maybe it's just about the way they carry themselves socially. And again, just by the pure fact of, like, geographically, sometimes you're forced to be stuck with people. But, like, when you're in an online community, it's really easy to justify and say, like, I choose to be with these people. And because you like being with them, it blindsides you a little bit to sometimes pointing out that they are wrong, you are wrong, stuff like that. You know, it's kind of the same concept of, like, you were about to take out the trash and your mom tells you to take out the trash and now you're like, no, I don't wanna. You know, when you're online, you can choose who you want to be with. As if you didn't start the stream off with a social experiment, sending Salty a message. True, he's still offline, he haven't replied me yet. It's okay though. He might not either, so. Gotten, like, nothing done this stream in terms of the piece, but I'm having a good time. Just you know, hanging out in chat and having a, I don't want to say the word grossly, but, like, very politically charged conversation. That was 3 hours ago. Oh my god, time has done the thing again where it keeps going forward. Yeah. I might honestly have to end soon because it has been 3 hours. It is 8:30 and I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm actually getting kind of hungry. I ate lunch at, like, 3. But I am a little hungry. I would like something to eat. I'm gonna finish extruding these faces real quick to connect these. And then, yeah, I'm gonna call it a day there. Anywho, yeah, okay, I think that is... What's for dinner? I have some leftover fried rice that I made yesterday. Ooh, wait, I have a ripe avocado. I don't know what the avocado specifically has to do with anything, but I'm gonna cut it and eat it before it goes bad. Anywho, yes. Thank you everyone for coming by today on this lovely Thursday. Sounds good. Haven't had that in a while. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love, like, fried rice is just so easy to make. And I had some rice that had, it was like fucking rock solid, honestly. Anyways, yeah. Thank you everyone for coming by today. I'm glad I was able, like last week I was only able to stream for like an hour and a half on Thursday because I was just like pooped by the end of it. So yeah, I'm glad I actually got to have a bit of a longer art stream today. Did I get anything done? No. But did I have a good time? Yes. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming by today. Next stream is going to be on Sunday. We're going to be playing more Tears of the Kingdom. We're going to try and give the Ganon fight another go, honestly. And yeah, I think that's it for me for today. Have a good rest of your evenings, you know. Have a good luck with the last like hour of work, Naru. Good to see you, Kidser, and you know, good to see you, Snow, as well. Yeehaw! And I will see you all on Sunday. Bye bye now. First full stream I've been to in a while. Yeah, it's been nice. Honestly, I kind of end streams when I'm just like, you know, not many people hanging out, or you know, the conversation vibes ain't it, and you know, the vibes were it. So. Alright, see you all later. Bye bye. Bye bye.